Factories today produce enough croissants to satisfy millions, churning out around 41 million every single day. Behind this huge number is an incredible process where giant mixers prepare the dough, machines fold and cut it with precision, and robotic arms sort and package every piece perfectly. That's why in today's video, we will be uncovering all that process just here at The Process Word. The croissant has become a worldwide favorite, often seen as the ultimate symbol of French baking, but interestingly, its story actually begins in Austria. The ancestor of the croissant was called the Kipferl, a crescent-shaped pastry that dates back to at least the 13th century. Interestingly, the crescent shape itself has much older roots, with some scholars tracing the symbolic use of crescents to the Middle East long before it appeared in European baking. Then, in the 1800s, a clever Austrian baker named August Zang opened a Viennese bakery right in the heart of Paris. He introduced Parisians to the Kipferl, and the French quickly embraced it. Over time, they took this crescent-shaped pastry and transformed it, adding flaky layers, using plenty of butter, and refining it into what we recognize today as the modern croissant. As the love for croissants spread beyond France, demand began to rise, and bakers needed a way to keep up. This is where factories stepped in, bringing precision, speed, and consistency to a process that was once done entirely by hand. So, how do they do it? Well, before we get into that, please leave a like and subscribe for more amazing videos like this one. Now moving on.
Well, the journey of a factory-made croissant starts way before baking, right at the ingredient preparation stage. In a large-scale factory, the volumes are incredible. Huge quantities of flour, water, salt, sugar, yeast, and butter are used every single day. These aren't small batches mixed by hand. Instead, industrial-sized mixers built to handle massive loads take over the job. Every ingredient is precisely measured. The accuracy here is key because a croissant's texture depends on getting this balance exactly right. The mixers themselves are fitted with powerful motors and strong paddles that combine the ingredients thoroughly, creating a smooth and elastic dough. Even the mixing speed and timing are carefully controlled to ensure the dough develops properly and maintains the right texture. Temperature control is another crucial part of this process. The dough must stay cool so that when it's time for layering, the fat won't melt too soon. Once the dough reaches the right consistency and temperature, it's ready to move on to the next stage.
This is where the croissant gets its famous flaky texture. In a factory, this process is done on a massive scale, and precision is everything. The dough first goes through powerful machines called dough sheeters. These machines roll out the dough into wide, thin sheets, all with the same thickness. Then comes the crucial step, adding the fat. A layer of butter or margarine is laid right onto the dough, and this is what will eventually create those beautiful layers. After that, the dough is folded over itself and passed through the sheeters again. This folding and rolling is repeated several times, carefully building up many alternating layers of dough and butter. In factories, the thickness of these sheets and the number of folds are carefully controlled to get the perfect balance of flakiness and softness. Another important detail, trimming the edges. Special machines cut the sides of the dough sheets so that every piece is clean and even. This means every single croissant will look just right when it's finally shaped and baked. By the end of lamination, the dough has transformed into a perfectly layered sheet, all set for the next step, cutting and shaping into that iconic croissant form. First, the large, perfectly layered sheet of dough moves on to cutting machines. These machines are equipped with sharp blades that slice the dough into identical triangles, the classic shape that sets croissants apart. The cuts have to be clean and exact to make sure every croissant is uniform in size and appearance. At this stage, factories can add fillings too. Specialized machines inject chocolate, jam, or cream right into the dough triangles. The injection process is carefully timed so the filling sits neatly inside, ready to melt into the layers during baking. Now comes the shaping. Another machine takes over to roll each triangle into that signature crescent form. Rotating blades gently curl the dough while soft plastic or silicone belts guide it smoothly along the conveyor. The rolling has to be just right so the layers stay tight and hold their structure. Once the croissants are cut and shaped, some factories take it a step further to offer different flavors and textures. This is where fillings and toppings come into play, and it adds even more variety to what ends up on store shelves. At this point, croissants can be brushed with an egg wash to give them a rich, shiny finish after baking. Some bakeries sprinkle on extras like sesame seeds, poppy seeds, or coarse sugar crystals to add texture and flavor. These toppings are applied before proofing, so they stick well as the dough rises.
Factories can also work color and flavor directly into the dough. For example, cocoa powder or natural fruit extracts can be mixed in during the earlier stages of dough preparation for chocolate or fruit-flavored variations. In some cases, chocolate chips or chopped nuts are sprinkled on top for even more appeal. After toppings are added, the croissants are all lined up on trays, perfectly spaced and ready for the next step: proofing, where they begin to rise before heading into the ovens. Inside the factory, proofing takes place in specially designed chambers where both temperature and humidity are carefully controlled. These conditions allow the yeast in the dough to activate fully, producing carbon dioxide that makes the dough rise. As this happens, the layers created during lamination start to expand, setting up the flaky structure that croissants are famous for. Timing is everything here. Proofing too long or too short would affect the final result. Factories monitor this closely, ensuring that every croissant reaches just the right level of rise before baking begins. During this phase, toppings like seeds and sugar crystals settle gently onto the croissant's surface as the dough expands underneath them. This ensures they stay in place and look appealing once baked. By the end of proofing, the croissants have puffed up beautifully, holding their crescent shape and ready to take on that golden color in the oven. This is where everything comes together: the layers, the shape, the toppings. And it all happens inside massive industrial ovens built to bake thousands of pastries quickly and evenly. In a factory, the croissants are placed on large trays that are specially designed to hold their shape during baking. These trays move automatically along conveyors into tunnel ovens that stretch several meters long. Inside, heat is distributed evenly thanks to rotating and rolling systems that ensure every croissant gets baked just right, no matter where it is on the tray. The temperature is carefully controlled, usually around 165 to 200 degrees Celsius. During baking, steam is naturally released from the butter locked between the dough layers. This steam is what separates and lifts those layers, creating that signature flaky texture and airy inside. By the time the trays reach the end of the oven, every croissant looks bakery perfect. The combination of temperature, time, and airflow ensures that they come out consistently beautiful and fully baked, ready for cooling.
Once the croissants come out of the oven golden brown and perfectly flaky, they need time to cool before they can be handled. As they travel along long conveyor belts, cool air gently moves around them, helping the heat inside escape so they don't turn soft or soggy later. Cooling also ensures that by the time robotic arms take over, the croissants are firm enough to handle without falling apart. This stage has to be efficient too. The factory must cool thousands of croissants quickly to keep up with production speeds, while still making sure they're at just the right temperature. Once they've cooled properly, the croissants move straight into sorting and quality control, one of the most high-tech parts of the entire process. In this stage, robotic arms fitted with cameras and sensors inspect each croissant as it passes by. These systems are trained to check size, shape, color, and texture, making sure every croissant meets strict standards. If one is slightly misshapen or off color, it's removed from the line immediately. The robots then gently pick up the croissants and organize them into neat rows, sometimes even sorting them by variety or size. By the time this process is finished, every croissant has been checked, sorted, and prepared perfectly for the final step, packaging. In this stage, freshly baked croissants are carefully placed onto conveyor belts that feed directly into high-speed flow wrapping machines. These machines work fast. A roll of plastic film unwinds continuously as croissants pass through, wrapping each one individually. As the film moves, it's sealed and cut precisely around every croissant, creating tightly wrapped packages that help keep them fresh. To make sure nothing goes wrong, sensors constantly monitor the position of each croissant so the wrapping lines up perfectly every time. Once the croissants are wrapped, robotic arms step in again. Using precision grips and advanced sensors, these robots lift the packaged croissants and place them carefully into large cartons. The cartons are packed efficiently, maximizing space without squashing any pastries. This packaging process ensures that by the time the croissants leave the factory, they're not only fresh and protected, but also packed neatly and ready for transport to retailers, supermarkets, and cafes all over the world. And that's it.
So now, after seeing how precision and automation come together to create every flaky croissant, doesn't it make you wonder, what other everyday foods are made this way, quietly passing through robots and machines before they even reach your plate? Share your thoughts in the comments section below as you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.